had just a little bit of a meltdown today because of a lot of things. 20 things to be exact. I made a list. But what really tipped me over the edge was changed plans. So I would like to talk about how I hate plans, how changed plans can lead to a meltdown. And so, and just in general, be very dysregulating to the nervous system of a neurodivergent person. I don't know if that goes for all neurodivergent people, but it's for an autistic person. Changed plans can really wreak havoc on the nervous system. So I don't like making plans at all. I know that they're necessary sometimes, like if there's an event scheduled that I want to attend, then I have to make a plan to go to the event on said date. Like last year, I went to a Ghost concert. I had to plan for that. And if it had been canceled, I would have been sad. Most canceled plans, though, I am not sad about whatsoever. I'm usually happy when plans get canceled, unless they are an event that I'm looking forward to or a vacation. So I'm not a big fan of plans. Not a fan of the plan. So it's kind of the way I maintain control over things, where a lot of people, like my oldest brother and my best friend, they are kind of control freaks. They like to plan things to the minute, and it's as if they think that planning things to the minute will eliminate any unforeseen circumstances and will avoid the unknown and make things more predictable. Well, the universe and time and whatever comes into play to make things happen, they don't care about your plans. They really don't. So it's unavoidable. Like, things are going to happen that are beyond your control. And just maintaining an illusion of control is only that. It's only an illusion. So I would rather just deny myself the illusion of control altogether. But in a way, that's me maintaining control or attempting to control the situation, because where I see a plan as an anxiety trigger, I'm trying to eliminate the anxiety trigger by eliminating the plan. Plans cause me so much anxiety. And when they change, they cause even more anxiety, unless it's canceled. And then it's not always good, but it's not always bad either. But when I have a plan, it takes so much energy, mental energy, and just physical energy to execute a plan. And like, it is so hard for me to execute a plan. Like, if I have to be somewhere at a certain time on a certain day, that's freaking hard for me. I am not a punctual person, and I don't do that because I'm inconsiderate or disrespectful. It's like time moves differently for me. I swear it does sometimes. It's like it's almost as if it moves more slowly for me than it does everyone else. And I'm just like, what? It's been 10 minutes? That it couldn't be. It's only been a minute for me. What are you talking about? So, yeah, I am a perpetually late person, and not like out of, you know, it's not that I disregard people's feelings or anything about it. It's just like it happens. It just happens. I don't even really know how, but it does. Um, but so plans, especially when it requires me being on time, punctual, and at a certain place, it requires so much mental energy, because not only do I have to plan to be to that place and that at that time, I have to plan all of these micro steps leading up to that for days before, if not months. So it just really throws me off completely when plans are canceled, or not canceled, when plans are changed. If it's a fun plan, when it's canceled, then it throws me off. But so my things leading up to my meltdown today were I had to get my windshield replaced this week because of it had an injury from a gravel truck. Big one. So I had to get my windshield replaced. That was a lot of money. And when I left the windshield place, I noticed this little plastic piece in my cup holder, and I thought it came from my cup holder because it was the same type of plastic and same color and everything. So I'm just like, this must have broken off. I can't figure out where it goes. Cup holder looks fine. I don't know. And then a couple of days later, I realized that it came from my rear view mirror. They had put it back on too low, and this little piece was supposed to cover the wires. So that means another place back to the windshield place. Another trip back to the windshield place, which is the hours is the same as my work hours. So that means that I'm going to have to take off work to go back because of their oversight. And I'm not a confrontational person. And just asking them to correct their oversight is a little too confrontational for me. I don't like that. But I also want those exposed wires covered up like they're supposed to be. And so that's stressful for me. That's really stressful. And I had a termite inspection for my house this week, and it was fine, but it was a lot of money. Like all at once at the first of the month. Because that's like house payment, car payment, then the windshield and the termite inspection on top of that. It was a lot. And so I'm just like, ooh, I don't have much to live on until the middle of the month when I get paid again. And I don't like using credit cards. So I'm just like, all right, okay, just be frugal. So then I'm just, I'm driving down the road, and I've lost my polarized glasses. And I had just grabbed a pair of cheap sunglasses that I found in the house. And I was driving around a curve, and almost hit a box truck head on because I got sun blinded going around that curve, and because I didn't have polarized glasses. So I need to buy some, and that costs money. And then my gas light came on, and that costs money. And I had just bought a bunch of groceries because I expected my boyfriend to be at my house this weekend because we had plans, and the groceries cost money, and they were also perishables. And so I'm supposed to go to him to do something this weekend. So now I'm like, oh my God, those groceries are gonna just ruin over the weekend, or and that stressed me out. And um, it was just oh, and the thing that we were going to do was probably going to require a lot of me just sitting around waiting. And I thought, it'd be nice to have something to do while I'm waiting on these guys to discuss things, and not just have to be glued to my phone or whatever. So I wanted to buy the Next Wheel of Time book. Well, the cheap bookstore didn't have it, and it's way too expensive at Barnes and Noble. So, like one book that I could buy 3 books, it didn't make any sense to me to get it. So I was just, this, okay, so I'll be bored for an hour or two. And bored and poor. And so I'm just like getting more and more anxious. But it's all like the changed plan thing happened last night. Earlier in the week, he asked if I wanted him to, if I wanted to take care of this tree that fell in my yard, which we've been chipping away at little bits at a time. And I really don't want to. It's kind of like, not really thinking that, but I'm kind of at his mercy because, he does the chainsaw thing and I do the gathering and stacking and wheelbarrow stuff and all that. And so I was just like, okay. So it's also kind of weather contingent. So I'm like, all right, sure, we'll do it. I had taken off Monday because of the eclipse. And so I had no plans other than to just stay home and watch the eclipse or observe it. I'm not going to be staring directly at the sun. And that's something I can't reschedule because, the sun, moon, and earth scheduled that for me. And I am not that powerful. So so I couldn't reschedule that, but I had, even though I wasn't looking forward to the tree thing, I had solidified that in my mind as a plan. And so last night he said, since you're off Monday, I want to see if there's a campsite available so we can camp. And I'm like, oh, I do like camping. We built an overland camper. We like to use it. So, okay, I'll check. I still felt a twinge of anxiety because it's like, okay, everything just changed. But since it's something I enjoy, and I thought that Saturday would be completely open, I thought, well, I'll have that day to recover from this jolt that I just got from a change in plans. So as I'm looking up places to camp, possibilities, he texted me that his friend wants us to paint his pool Saturday. I've never painted a pool before in my life. All kinds of nervous thoughts pop up. Anxious, nervous, whatever. You know, I'm like, oh my God, I've never done that. I didn't volunteer for that. He volunteered me for it. I volunteered to do a stencil, which I had already done, so I thought my part in that play was over. But um, yeah, I'm like, oh boy, me clumsy with an open can of paint on the bottom of a swimming pool, and the people are neurotypical. I don't know them that well, but they're friends of his, and so I'm like, oh, what? It's just gonna be me and the NTs on the bottom of a swimming pool in an environment that I can't control, and I probably won't even have my own transportation there to jump in my car and run away if I need to. I always like to have my own transportation handy because I do get that urge to flee. that flight response is strong with this one. Um, so that was a lot, and I said that. I said that's a lot. I need time to think about this, and I need to go for a run, an emergency run. So that's what I did, and he, by the time I finished my run, he'd already messaged me to call him, and I call him, and he's got an alternate plan. So it was like plans changed 3 times within an hour, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know about I let's just play it by ear. But then all that stuff happened this morning on my way to work, and with all the stuff that had piled up, the stress of the week and everything. By the time I woke up this morning, I was in bad shape. I could tell I was so off when I woke up. Nothing was right. I was just completely off. Just my morning routine is pretty much always the same, and it was off. Like I couldn't even dress myself right, and I'm like looking for a matching sock for way too long because I needed a particular pair of socks, and I had one clean one, and I couldn't find the other one because it's probably at his house. Probably got somehow stuck in the laundry at his house, which ended up in a big pile at the floor of the closet. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking for my missing sock and I can't find it because I want that one particular pair. It needed to be that particular pair, but I end up with the pair that I didn't want. And then I put on a pair of shoes that didn't do it for me, and like the color wasn't right. And so I had to change socks just to wear a pair of high top Converse instead of low tops. And so there was that issue, and just being, it's almost like my motor skills are off. Like I'm just a little, like, just a little off kilter. And I could tell. I was like, oh my gosh, it's about to happen. It's going to happen today. I know it is. But I went to work anyway, and I'd been there for just a little while, and I had that fluttery feeling in my chest, and I start just like feeling it getting tighter and more fluttery, and my arrhythmia starts acting up. And because I'm trying to suppress it because I'm at work, I start crying, and then it just all goes, it's just like pff, the dam breaks. So I just shut my office door and lock it and hope that nobody notices or does comes knocking. Luckily they didn't. I was in there for a couple hours, just trying to get it together. And I had texted my boyfriend that morning, but this morning, like, what time are we doing the pool thing? Because it occurred to me that I might, since he's in a different city, not far, but still, I don't trust myself to wake up and be anywhere in the morning on a Saturday. So I'm like, I might have to spend the night there if they're going to do this early. They're early birds, and I am not. Like, early bird gets the worm. You know, you've heard the second mouse gets the cheese. Well, at my house, I feed the birds sunflower seeds in the evening. So the late bird gets the sunflower seeds. But anyway, so I'm not an early person. I'm not a morning person. But also, I'm like, okay, well, my night routine is going to be thrown off for 3 days. My morning routine is going to be thrown off for 3 days. And those are the only two things that really, really matter to me. What happens in between is no big deal. But when my morning routine and my night routine are thrown off, it throws me off completely. And so knowing that that was going to be thrown off, it threw me off. And then so when he didn't tell me very quickly what time this was going to happen, it by the time I started my meltdown, I just texted him like, it never mind. I'm not doing anything this weekend. I'm freaking out in my office. And then I wrote my list of 20 things gradually over the rest of the day, because I told them, like, I can't even explain it right now because I couldn't. Like, that takes energy that and a soundness of mind that I didn't have at that moment. So all of that didn't happen because of changed plans, but the change of plans really is, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was, yeah. So because because of all those other things, though, plans got changed anyway. So, and that is why I hate plans.